Hello there. I decided I wanted to try something new and talk about how we're going to simplify the derivatives when we type them into Excel. Now, on the worksheet that you see on the screen here, I just wanted you for these without the word problem part. We're not analyzing or evaluating, just apply the rules and stop. But just to introduce you to the transition, I thought I'd go through here for each of these worksheets and just, because you don't want to type this in all the detail just because that's going to take a little bit of extra time. So that's typed it in verbatim, which you can certainly do, and you'll notice that exponent you do need to have in parentheses. If you don't do those parentheses, it's not right. So that's a complication. So if you typed it in with the simplification, and because that exponent is 2 minus 1 is 1, we're not going to type in an exponent of 1. That would just be p, negative 6p minus 2, like that. Which could save you, accumulated all the questions on the test, a little bit of time versus typing that extra thing there. All right, so similarly for the next one, it's very similar. We are going to have that negative exponent. There's different ways of typing it. We could use the exponent law to transition it back to a fraction. But the negative exponent is going to cause I'll just do it, a divide by zero error. So again, I'm going to do it longhand. Now that's a lot to type in there. And again, like I said, we get that division by 0. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. I'm going to type it differently. So the two negatives multiplied is positive, and that's a 6. And we can multiply it with the exponent. Or, I didn't handwrite it because I didn't want y'all worrying about that extra stuff. You could use, and I'm not going to do a W, am I? The exponent law to turn it back into the fraction, like that. So either way, you can type it with the negative exponent. I don't know which one is shorter. You got a negative in there and then you don't. The multiplier divide is the same thing. But versus the non-simplified, you get the idea. So when you get to Excel, you do need to think about simplifying. Next week we'll get back to Excel. All right, I think this is the only time you might encounter pi. It might creep up now and then. I kind of like it. But in Excel, you can see what I just did there. So it doesn't understand without the parentheses. All of the functions in Excel are the name of the function and then parentheses. In this case, we don't put anything in the parentheses. And I'm going to type this one a little bit differently too so that you can see. I'm not going to, let's just go ahead and do all of it so we can see how annoying it is to not simplify in Excel. And the more that you type in Excel, the more chances you have of making some little mistake. Double check it because there's a lot going on there. So the pi times 1 over the cell reference minus 2 times negative 2/3 times, again, to the power of, boop, like that. And that was another divide by 0. So we've got that in there. And let's see. So there are different ways of approaching this. That 1 divided by u is the same thing as just divide by u. So typing it that way might save a little bit of time. We've got the 2 minuses multiplied, so that's a plus, and then the 2 like that in time. Now you don't really need the parentheses there, but I do that sometimes. Now this exponent might give you problems if you don't know how to subtract fractions in your head. So the denominator is 3. So basically we're going to add that to the numerator like you see I did there. And so we type one thing in. Now, you've got to decide what you're going to abbreviate, what you're not going to abbreviate. And if it's easier for you to type in negative 2 divided by 3 minus 1 and not think about the arithmetic, possibly making a mistake with the arithmetic, then go ahead and type it in that way. I just wanted to highlight, and you can just see physically the length, which represents what you're typing, is a lot shorter. So if you are aware of how you would type these things in, then you can save a little bit of time. And of course I am not properly designating these in Excel because these are all derivatives, so I really should have the prime there just to help me keep track of what's different. Anything when you create these little tables in Excel to label those columns, headers, my OCD kicked in. I had to center everything. Alrighty. Again, the exponent 2 minus 1 in this case is just 1, so you don't want to type 2 minus 1. Our exponential. And you'll notice what happened here is I don't know, which cell am I typing it in? I'm typing it in that cell. So let's go back. So it was overlapping the other cell. I don't know if you've encountered that before or if I'll be able to reproduce it here. Doesn't look like I'll be able to reproduce it here. So never mind. And of course, when you're typing that in, you don't want to type plus 0 or times 0. That's that's unnecessary like that. That's all I wanted to do. I'm not going to give you this Excel file, so if you want to practice it, go back to the beginning and just practice it again and think about how you would abbreviate these things when you type into Excel, what makes sense to you. Where you're going to use the parentheses. A lot of students really use the parentheses in excess, like I'm showing you here. They might do that, which is not necessary. They might have all of this term in parentheses. They might have that a to the power, a12 to the power of. And you can see those extra parentheses really can get confusing after a while. So hopefully you've been practicing and you recognize when some of those parentheses are just unnecessary like that. So that's the end of the video.